Hello, my name is Travis Galbraith, and I'm applying for the String Teacher Fellowship position that's opening up at your school next fall. I wanted to go over a few aspects of my teaching experience that I hold to be somewhat important, and you guys gave me the opportunity to make a video. So I'm just rather than have it. I didn't have any videos available of my actual teaching, so I decided to just sit down and kind of talk with you about some important aspects of my teaching in this private and group settings. I guess I'll talk about the private setting first. The goal is kind of the same. It's about finding the musical voice within the student and getting in touch with their own musical voice. I believe every individual has one, and it's something that drives us to perform and drives us to play for people. Is this musical voice inside of us? And I think it's not difficult to tap into, but some of the things that I teach are oriented in finding this voice for the student and with the student, and incorporating that into a learning environment, which will enrich the student in terms of knowledge, and will also enrich the students' ability to perform for people, and so forth and so on. So one of my the goal that I have written down, one of the main goals in my private lesson instruction is imparting knowledge and experience to the student in order for the student to achieve confidence in playing and ultimately perform at the highest possible level of the student. Of each student, because each student has different levels of performing capabilities, but at the same time they can always reach their personal best, and that's what's important for me, is finding out and developing the students' capabilities with their personal best in mind. Pluses for the student would be the ability to read music, explanation of terms and symbols within the music. These are things that I help the student along with. I also demonstrate the musical demands within the music, so that they can understand what is being asked of them as a player. And I also do my best to demonstrate through playing or talking the demands that are being placed on them in the music. Memorization is important for me. Once the student is able to digest what is on the page and is able to kind of develop an understanding of what is being asked from the composer, memorization becomes important, because then it takes the sight reading aspect of playing out of the picture, and the student is able to develop things such as posture, correct holding of the instrument and bow, and is also able to work on projection and resonance, things that are important in performance settings. So I find memorization to be important for the student, and it's also another level of accomplishment when the student has a piece memorized. I find that private lessons enable the student to ask questions about the music. They're able to, whatever questions they've developed from week to week, they're able to bring them to my attention, and I can, offer my experience and expertise on the subject, and hopefully finding a resolution that makes sense to the student, so they can apply that to their musical growth. The private lessons also they're able to develop a relationship with the teacher on a personal level. I'm interested in the whole student, so I realize that sometimes students don't have, they're not 100% committed to music, so I don't mind talking about their soccer game that they had on Saturday, or how they did on their math test that they had been studying for. Not to spend too much time on those types of things, but I think it's important for us to get an idea of what direction the student is headed in his or her life, even at a young age. Just what the interests are of the student, and finally, in a private lesson, the student is able to get immediate feedback regarding his or her playing. So it's kind of like a catalyst in that, rather than just being at home practicing by themselves, they're practicing with an experienced professional in the room, or playing for me, and I'm offering them feedback that can hopefully enhance their growth and speed up the learning process. And those are pretty much the main aspects of private teaching that I hold to be important. I'm sure I've left some out, but that's the gist of it. In terms of group and ensemble playing, I think a group dynamic, it's important to work towards common goals within the music. I have a term called a saying called a term called group unity, and it's a weighing of anyways, you get the point, I think. So there we go.